all about education and migration issues.
We keep you posted on latest changes every month.
Welcome everyone to Migration Updates.
This program is brought to you by Esteem Mortgage Hub, making your home loan journey easy. Neil Consultancy, over 12 years of experience in education and migration industry. Remember us for all your admissions and visa queries.
Australia is a vibrant multicultural country for the fact that the government allows hundreds of thousands of migrants from all around the globe to settle in. At the same time, it's important to understand that the topic migration itself is a complex process, and also the Department of Home Affairs keep on changing the criteria to be eligible for. Good evening, this is myself, Durga Banjade, the program host for LUKLA TV. I would like to welcome you all to Migration Update episode number 5 with Mr. Niraj Shrestha, who is a qualified registered migration agent. He is the managing director of Neil Consultancy that is situated in the heart of Sydney CBD. It is to be noted Mr. Shrestha is the past president of Australian Education Consultant Alliance. Today, this episode would more focus on skilled regional visa and some relevant Q&A towards education and migration related topics. Let me welcome our guest for the show. Welcome to the show, Mr. Shrestha.
Thank you, Mr. Banjade.
Okay, let's get it started. Since our last episode, are there any updates on generally skilled migration visa that our viewers should be aware of?
Yes, especially for those who are, who are looking to, for ways to migrate to Australia, where I call them the skilled migrants or prospective migrants. Yes, there are a lot of, the events happening, and I believe that's something they need to know. Especially in regard to generally skilled migration. Yes.
All right. If I remember correct, there was a major changes that occurred on 16th of November, particularly on skilled regional visa. How is it all going?
Yes, I guess you're referring to the skilled regional visa.
Yeah.
That's something we discussed in the past.
We did a lot.
You did a lot, and if they are granted visas, the visa will be for 5 years. But the catch is they must live in a designated regional area for 3 years, and they must work in that area before being eligible for 191, which is permanent pathway visa. And also, yes, it started from the 16th of November.
On the same day?
On the same day,
yeah.
But the thing is, under this category, there are two, streams. One is the state and territory nominated, sponsored, and the other one is the family sponsored visas.
Okay.
So what do you,
how
what
do
you
you
mean?
differentiate?
What the difference between this is, if you have someone living in a designated regional area who is either the permanent residents or Australian citizen, then they can sponsor their immediate family members. So the applicant doesn't need to be sponsored by the states or territories. If someone is you have someone living in South Australia who is your immediate family members, like brothers or sisters.
That needs to be your immediate relations?
Exactly, that needs to be immediate relative members, and even the first cousin is also on the list. So if you have a first cousin in South Australia, which is a regional area, and then you have and then you want to sponsor someone, and they want to come to Australia, but their occupation must be on the list, then that is the family sponsored visa. Which is 491, and that's one of the stream. But the other stream, I think, where we discussed a lot, is the what do you call that, regional school, which is sponsored by, nominated by the states. And yes, a lot of the states and territories, they have already started accepting applications for the state nominations or
having said that, pretty much all the states and territories started accepting the application for nomination, or If not, could you just tell us in brief who has started so far?
All right, okay. Thank you. Thanks, Banjade. That's a good question. Okay, most states and territory, they accepted
You mean
applications.
pretty much all of them?
Not all of them.
Oh, okay. So there are quite a few states and territories here in Australia. It's a big country, right?
It is.
So what are the eligibility and how each states differentiate, or how they differ in terms of nominating the applications?
Yeah. Okay. It's pretty much same as what it was, when we had 489. Remember in 489 also there are each state and
when we say 489, the visa that replaced by 491. Okay,
that's right.
Yeah.
The 489 is replaced by 491.
Yeah.
And it's actually it's exactly the same. Now you're referring to your question. What are the criterias? Those
the major criteria.
The major criteria.
Yes. Overlook the tiny ones, but just want to give the
what are the criteria for nomination, especially if you are on a 485 visa holders, and you are the 485 is a pathway to skill to permanent residence. So it's very the 485 visa holders, I guess that's they are most concerned about what are the criteria in each state and whether they can apply for nomination. So when we talk about Victoria, I guess the Victoria is the first state, first state to started accepting application for nominations. And one of the criteria for I'm not going to go in each and every criteria, but but the things that our viewers need to know is one of the criteria is they must have received a job offer from an employer based in regional Victoria. So in Victoria, when you say 491,
regional Victoria, it's not Victoria, the central town, right?
No. It's Melbourne is not included in 491.
Yeah.
So Melbourne is a sub-metropolitan, and so except Melbourne, all other areas are under 491.
Let's get to the point.
So my point is, if you are a registered nurse, if you are a cook, or if you are an accountant, then as long as you get a job offer, which should be for full time and for minimum 12 months, then you may be eligible for state nominations. And of course you have to meet all other criteria, other criteria where you must select your EOI, where you must submit your EOI through skill select, and other criteria.
The major one is the job offer.
Exactly. So if you are someone here you are working as a cook in Sydney, and you're looking to get nominations in Victoria, then I guess that if you get a job offer, then you may be eligible for nomination.
So they can start looking at the options.
Exactly, they can start right away. They can start right away. And the good thing is, the applicants must not be living. I mean, they do not need to live in Victoria at the moment in order to be eligible, in order to apply for nominations.
Okay, if you were to compare the pros and cons on those two visa types, the one that we have replaced, and the one that I would say 491, which looks to be better? Is it being accepted very well by the applicants, or how you think it's? Is it getting tougher sort of thing?
The thing is, in terms of what the government is giving to the visa holders, that's something we need to know. Look, for 489. They didn't have access to Medicare.
All right. So social security
is a major thing for the people staying in regional areas. And the thing is, the visa is for 5 years. Previously, it was only for 4 years.
If
the health system is very expensive in Australia.
If they can't afford the health, means they're risking their life. Anything can turn up black tomorrow.
Oh yes,
who knows?
That's right. Yes.
The people, it's very hard to afford.
That's why
unless you are really
that's why they are giving a lot of money to Medicare, which is good thing, for the visa holder. Moving on to South Australia, the whole region is now designated as regional area for 491.
So even if it's in the
CBD, even the Adelaide is a regional area. And the major criteria for this is especially for the onshore applicant, those who have already been living in Australia, and they have two criteria. One is for onshore, another is for offshore.
Yeah, we'll talk about offshore.
We'll talk about that later on. But for especially, I'm focusing on referring to the
guys
onshore.
living here.
Yes,
right
guys
now.
living here, exactly. Then you must be living and working in South Australia for last 6 months.
Yeah.
And also the other criteria is you must have 1 year experience.
That was not the case in
No, that wasn't the case in Victoria. Just job offer. But in South Australia, you need at least 1 year of work experience in last 3 years. And then there are the waivers for South Australian graduates, which means that those who studied, the 2 years study in South Australia, they do not need to meet the work experience.
Yeah.
And also, as I said before, they must be residents of South Australia, must be working for at least 6 months in South Australia in skill occupation, in any skill occupation. So that is the main criteria for someone who is looking for sponsorship in South Australia. Okay. Now let's get on to ACT, where the ACT, we discussed a lot about subclass 190 nominations.
We did, yeah.
And then what we said is now Canberra will also be in a designated regional area. So now the Canberra also started accepting applications for 491, and the major criteria is the applicant must be residing in ACT for 3 months.
Okay.
And they must have been working for 3 months. So living and working for at least 3 months before even they apply for the nominations, which they have to apply through matrix. And the other one is the new Canberra matrix that will start from the 1st of January 2020.
All right, so the application for nomination has already been started.
Yeah.
There is some changes going to happen on the 1st of Jan.
Now for 491,
yeah,
I mean they have been accepting application for 190,
okay,
but 491 they're going to accept application from the 1st of January 2009.
So that means for 491 it hasn't
started yet. But
just to make our viewers clear that the topic that Mr. Shrestha is covering was not on 491 for ACT. That's something that's going to be covered from 1st of Jan.
That's right. From the 1st of Jan 2020. So what it is, you have to apply for Canberra, through Canberra matrix. Of course, you have to fill up the Canberra matrix, and then you choose which one you want to apply, whether it's 491 or 190.
Yeah.
Okay. And then also you have to submit your interest through the skill select, and you say that you have minimum 65 points. And in Canberra matrix, more the points you claim, the higher the chance of getting invitation from ACT. So that's the basic, that's the difference between 190 and the 491. Whereas in 491 you have to live at least 3 months, where in 190 you have to live in ACT for 1 year. So minimum 1 year stay is required for 190. Now let's move on to Western Australia.
Yeah.
The Australian Australia has 2 occupation lists. One is called WASML, which is Western Australia Skill Occupation List, and another one is for graduates.
All right.
So for international students who completed an 2 years study in Australia.
All right.
So that is, they have 2 different the list, and of course the list that the international students have access to, I mean Western Australia, that's more, they have more occupation than the other one, which is WASML, and the criteria is at least 1 year of Australian work experience or 3 years overseas work experience in the last 10 years. If an invitation is issued, the applicant has 28 days to lodge for state nominations. So what does that mean is you apply through skill select, and then Western Australia will pick up if you are eligible, and then they will issue an invitation. So within 28 days you must apply for state nomination. And the other criteria is must show evidence of getting proficient in English. So if your occupation is on major 1 or 2, then then you should have a proficiency in English.
That means you got to show in form of test, like
that's right.
IELTS,
yes, that's right. IELTS or PT. You must
PT,
have. You
yeah.
must show the evidence that you have 7 in each band.
Yeah.
In each band. So that is the evidence. And yes, and the other thing is must have 12 months of full-time employment job offer in Western Australia.
Oh, right. Okay. That's
So
the richest state, they say. They should be getting.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's similar to what we discussed in Victoria.
Yeah.
That you must have a job offer. So it's pretty much same.
Yeah.
The Western Australia, they also need the applicant to have 12 months job offer.
Yeah.
And now I move on to the Queensland.
Yeah.
In Queensland, it says the applicant must be living and working in regional Queensland.
Oh, okay.
So if you are in Sydney,
So they have
or in
categorized
Melbourne,
which one is
exactly. They have
yeah.
categorized if you are working in Queensland.
Yeah.
So if someone is in Sydney, they can't apply.
Yeah.
So let's put it this way.
Yeah, I understand.
You have to live and work in a regional Australia, and it says they work full time in the occupation for 6 months.
6 months.
So,
Okay.
if you are an accountant or if you are a registered nurse, then you must have worked at least 6 months
And how
in a
about the
regional
job
Australia.
offer? Do they need job offer?
So all they need is that's the commitment.
So you have worked before.
You have worked 6 months, and
Yeah.
then you have a ongoing job.
That means
for the
if
next
you can't
12 months.
continue for another 12 months, it may not be.
So what you got to do is
yeah.
that before you apply,
Yeah.
that
You need some sort of commitments
You
that you
submit the evidence.
Yeah.
You have worked 6 months, and it could be the same employer, it could be another employer. That
right.
you have a job offer for next 12 months.
That's the requirement.
That's the
pretty much.
requirements exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's the requirements in Queensland.
Before we move on to the territories, hopefully you are going to cover this. I have heard that New South Wales also started to accept the nomination for application for 491 visas, right? Is it true?
Yes, New South Wales.
What's the present status?
Okay,
That's
the
all I
New
wanna
South
know.
Wales on its website,
Yeah.
they said that they will start accepting application from the mid of January 2020.
That means hasn't started yet.
It hasn't started, but
The process
what
may
it
be
will
going at the background.
what it
Yeah.
will be like,
Okay,
and
yeah.
what are the criteria? It's already on the website.
All right,
So if
so-
anyone is thinking to move on to regional,
Yeah.
and then they can log on to their website,
Yeah.
and they have all the information is there for the
Just to
criteria.
check if it's in their favor or they plan to move to other states. So it's better all the students go to the website and start checking, right?
That's right.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Let's move on to the territories.
yes. Okay. The Northern Territory. That they say they have to live in
Okay.
Northern Territory.
Before we moving on to Northern Territory for New South Wales,
Okay.
any particular criteria has
Yes.
been listed in there?
Yes, I guess New South Wales is the largest state,
and
in terms
everyone
of,
wants to stay here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In terms of we have previously there were like 10 or 11 RDAs, which is Regional Development Australia,
Yeah.
and it's Regional Development Australia. They used to nominate for 489 in the past.
Yeah.
So and in terms of number, what the NSW they're saying that they said that there are approximately 3,000 places for nominations for 491. So it's a huge number, and then it's also the in terms of area, it's huge. Then it's it's bigger than other areas, and now this is the first time. As per their website, because all the information is now on the website, they say that this 491 will be managed by the NSW government. Previously, it was by different RDAs, RDAs, but now they say the NSW government itself, they will manage 491 visas, and the major change, what it will be like from the mid of January. They haven't come up with exact date from when they will start, but probably soon they will put that, they will post that information on the website. But what they have, like, the criteria for, if anyone wants to move on to, New South Wales, is they must lodge EOI through Skill Select and include NSW for nomination. So they must mention that they want to be nominated by NSW. And if you meet all other criteria,
What is the major criteria?
Okay, the major
Is there any,
criteria,
like the job offer sort of things, because obviously if our students is willing to apply for this 491, there are different criteria for each of the states and territories, like Mr. Shrestha said. For this one, as always, we encourage our viewers to consult with registered migration agent or solicitors, because please don't make any decisions based on the show, because we can't cover all the aspects of the migration topics, and obviously your personal circumstances is not considered while we are talking. So Mr. Shrestha, is there any particular thing that they need to be aware on this New South Wales regarding the job offer, that sort of things we are touching up on each of the sites?
Thank you. Actually, I was coming to that, how they're going to accept, the application, and what are the, requirements to be nominated by NSW. So mainly that, on their website they said there are mainly three pathways.
All right. Okay.
So I'm just referring to three pathways.
Sure.
One is the applicant already living and working in regional New South Wales. Just mind that. Working and living and working in regional New South Wales, not in regional Australia. The other pathway is those who are living and working overseas.
Okay.
So they never. I mean,
Yeah.
they're going to Australia, but we're not going to cover this one. We go on next one.
Yeah.
Another one, and the third pathway is if you have finished your study recently in regional New South Wales.
Okay. Yeah.
So say if someone finished their study in Bathurst or in Orange 2 years, then they will be eligible for nominations.
All right.
So now those who are living and working in regional NSW, let's talk about this one. So what they say is you must have worked at least 12 months.
All right. So my question, sorry to interrupt you. How about someone completed their master's degree or bachelor's degree from UTS Central, CBD here in New South Wales or the Sydney city? Are they eligible?
No.
They are not.
They are not eligible.
It's got to be.
They are not eligible.
The education.
They have to have education from the regional
area.
So if they have a campus in Bathurst, I think there is a uni in Bathurst.
UNE or something.
Not UNE. There is a it's Charles Sturt University. Yes. So the Charles Sturt University is in Bathurst. So if someone has completed 2 years study in the Charles Sturt in a campus that is located in a regional area, then they are eligible. But if someone has finished here in Sydney, they're not eligible.
They would have a different pathway.
They would have a different pathway to go. This one exactly.
Okay.
So I'm talking about the living and working criteria. So what they need to do is they must show the evidence they have worked 12 months in that area. That area, and it should be in a nominated occupation or closely related occupation. So if your occupation was cook or chef, then they must have worked as cook in that area. So they must be, and living in a designated area for 12 months. And the thing is, the employment can be it could be from more than one employer. Because when you say 12 months, it can be splitted. It can be from one employer or more than two employees. But the gap should not be more than a month.
Okay, so in overall, you consolidate the time to show up 12 months.
That's right.
Work, no fragmentation in between.
Exactly.
More than 1 month.
More than 1 month, but there is no gap between the employer, between the jobs for more than 1 month. So that is under the applicant living and working in regional New South Wales.
Well, what are the eligibility criteria for offshore application for those, regional visa, that 491 we are talking? This topic was popping up everywhere, I think. Let's address this one here, please.
Overseas applicant, then there are three pathways, even under this one.
Okay.
So one is you must have a job offer for 12 months. So it's like, and their occupation must be on the New South Wales regional skill stream 2, which is
okay. My question here, I want to be very specific on this one. Is it only applicable for New South Wales?
It is only applicable for now.
So other states are not accepting offshore?
No. We're not talking about other ops because each state and territory.
It's a different. Today we're going to emphasize on New South Wales.
On the New South Wales offshore applicant.
Okay, yeah.
An offshore applicant, as I said before, they must have occupation on the list, which is skill, regional skill stream 2. And the interesting point is the accountant is not there.
All right. Okay.
The accountant is not on the skill stream 2.
All right. Okay.
So even if you have a job offer, then you cannot apply.
Okay.
It's
so firstly you got to check.
You got to check whether your occupation is there or not.
Okay.
And of course, residing outside Australia. Okay. You must be living and working outside, Australia. And as I said, the job offer from the employer, they are based in region New South Wales. That's one. Or if you don't have a job offer, but you can demonstrate that you have worked more than 5 years.
Back in your country?
Back in any country, it doesn't matter. Maybe you have worked 2 years as an international student, so you worked here 2 years, and then you left, and then you worked overseas 3 years. So you can combine both Australian and overseas work experience. And as long as you show that you have 5 years of work experience, then you meet that criteria. And even say you don't have 5 years of work experience, you don't have a job offer, then there is another pathway.
All right, what is it?
This is for the family if you have family members living in regional New South Wales. So immediate family members of the primary applicant. When I say the primary applicant is that the applicant who lost the application, who is eligible, and that applicant, if he has someone like mom, dad, or brothers, sisters, even there's someone who is on provisional visa, New South provisional visa, then they can apply through that pathway. That's the beauty about it. So I guess the more and more people will be eligible under this criteria, who is living, applicant living in offshore. And the last criteria I want to discuss on this one, as I said, there are 3 pathways. The other one is the applicant who study in regional New South Wales. So
when you say who studied accomplished their study in regional, means the offshore guy has completed their study in
not the offshore guy.
Because let's make this clear.
3 pathways again. I repeat.
No, let's don't repeat the last one.
The last one, not to be confused with the previous one, because the previous one is the applicant working and living in regional New South Wales. Another one is applicant living offshore. And the third one is those who have completed the study in regional New South Wales. Okay, so they must study at least 2 years.
You covered that topic previously, didn't you?
Not the one who studied in regional New South Wales.
Okay,
not the one who studied in regional New South Wales. And that qualification is closely related to 2 nominated occupations.
All right.
So you are cook, then you must have studied something which is relevant to your occupations. Okay, so that is qualification closely related to nominated occupation. Study was completed in last 12 months. Study completed at NSW regional area, and they said the standard processing time is 4 weeks.
All right.
So this is the pathway for someone who completed.
Does it mean, let's say, if you fulfill this criteria, is it guaranteed that you're gonna get?
There is no guarantee. There is no guarantee.
Even if you fulfill all the criteria.
Because what happens is there are maybe like more applicants than what the number is available for nomination. So even if you meet the minimum criteria, it doesn't mean that you will be invited.
All right, thank you very much, dear viewers. We take a short commercial break. We'll be right back with you in a moment and get started with rapid Q&A. Thank you.
This program is brought to you by Esteem Mortgage Hub, making your home loan journey easy. Neil Consultancy, over 12 years of experience in education and migration industry. Remember us for all your admissions and visa queries.
All right, Mr. Shrestha, this is the second half of the program, rapid Q&A. towards migration. It could be some other topics than what we've covered the first half. Well, let's make it very quick, short for our viewers. In a single word, what is migration assistance?
Look, if we refer to the act, you'll see what is immigration assistance. It is a long clause. So I say like it says preparing or helping to prepare a visa application or other documents, advising about a visa applications.
I said single word. What would you call?
Okay, anything.
Yeah,
that relates to visas.
Consulting the students,
consulting about or renewing their visa.
Yeah,
and if someone is here on a tourist visa,
if you provide any advice to the applicant.
Yes, what I'm saying, if someone is here on a tourist visa and they come to see you, and they're seeking ways to get a student visas, whether they can get it or not, then that advice is also immigration assistance.
All right, then can an education agent, like there's education consultancy, right, the representative from there, if they are just the education agent, can they advise students or any migration on any visa related topics such as reviewing visa or lodging an applications to the immigration?
No, education agents are not registered migration agents. So education agents cannot advise you what visa is good for you and whether they can give you what other visas are good for you. They cannot advise you.
All right, if that's the case, do you agree that there is a lot of confusions spread out in the market, that some newcomers, means there's new students coming into Australia, they think that the education and migration agents both are the same? They tend to confuse themselves sometimes.
Yes, there is a confusion because in Australia the migration advice to provide immigration assistance, you must be registered with MARA.
What is MARA?
So MARA stands for Migration Agents Registration Authority.
All right. So my question there would be, how can the service seeker, that could be students or guy coming here in a tourist visa or something else, can ensure themselves that the person he is consulting is a genuine migration agent?
Yes.
Or
it's a very good question.
He's getting a genuine
advice from the right persons. From the right persons.
Yeah.
Yes. The first thing is they need to know who is they getting advice from. So if they come to me, then they can check who am I, whether I'm registered with MARA or not. And also there is a code of conduct display in our office. So all migration agents must display the code of conduct. If we are suppose if I have a client sitting in the waiting room, then I must display the code of conduct.
All right, let's say my question here, let's say someone get to your office today and they see the code of conduct mounted on the wall somewhere, sticked on the wall. Maybe MARA is of your, because it's you are the MARA qualified.
Yep.
But in your office, someone else, your rep, is giving him a visa advice. So is it acceptable?
No.
All right. It has
to be only for myself. It has to come from who the person is registered with MARA.
So and that MARA sticker or whatever is on the wall, hanging on the wall, should say that this MARA belongs to your name, would be there.
Yes.
So the student will be aware of that.
So either you can do that way, or you can check. You can go to the MARA website.
Okay.
You can ask. Okay. So what was your name? You can ask who am I getting advice from. So this is your right, because you going there and you paying their service.
Yeah, sure.
So then you need to know. You must know who you're getting advice from, and you can check their the registration in the MARA website. Like there are many professions they are registered with their the bodies, like the registered nurse. You can know whether the nurse is registered or not. You can go to the the registration authority. You can check whether they are registered. The doctors, they also have to be registered with their association. So similarly, the migration agent must register with MARA, and that's by law.
It's transparent by law.
Exactly. And if it is not registered, then that it is illegal.
All right. My question. Next question. Please don't step in. Yeah. What happens if the authority finds an education agent is indeed providing migration advice, what is the penalty like?
If a service seeker goes to an agent and they just advise you, but they didn't charge you.
Yeah.
That's two things.
Yeah.
They advise you, but they didn't charge you. Still, you are liable for penalty. So there is a fine around 10,000 fine.
Yeah.
Around that figures. I mean, and not the exact figure.
They just
they
issue a fine.
They issue a fine.
And you can still retain the education agent. Let me
complete this one. So if someone is providing immigration advice but they didn't charge any through the applicant, then you will be penalized for providing immigration assistance. But that you charge to the applicant, to the service seeker, and you are not a registered migration agent,
you'll be gone.
Then then you can be penalized up to 10 years jail sentence.
Oh, okay, that's imprisonment.
Yes,
okay,
so
so
10 years jail sentence.
All right, so and
that's something I want to know.
May lose the education agency related.
That's so many other consequences. But I just want to focus on that one, especially the students.
Yeah.
I know that because they are vulnerable.
Yeah.
The students, they don't know a lot of laws here in Australia, and they think that what I agree with you, that they think that education and migration agents are the same.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But they are not. So you must ask. Especially with our students, international students, you must ask, who you getting advice from. Whether that person is registered with MARA or not. Because you know what? Because even if you get some advice from MARA register, the migration agents, and that is not correct.
All right. This is law says this, right? There are ethical things as well. And when it comes to the same community, people sometimes, let's say, if a student's in trouble, if you send him to solicitor or migration agent, they charge you the fee. It's hard to get hold of these guys in terms of scheduling an interview, in terms of scheduling a tie up a time for just to sit together and table the thoughts. In that scenario, if an education consultant invite a student who is processing their application, and at the same time they are willing to give them a free of cost visa advice, what's wrong with it?
No.
As long as they know the fact that how it works, then I don't see any problems.
Look, that's a different thing, because you can, because you are not the right person, because maybe because you may have, let's put it this way, you may have studied few subjects in medicine.
Yeah.
Does that mean you know everything about the primary care or anything? You are not the right person. So if something happens, then you have to call the the person who is licensed. So MARA is the registered migration agency is a licensed professionals. So we advise, is not only advice, we take their case and we advise them whether your case is strong or not. Whereas someone who doesn't know, it's not only about registration, who doesn't know about the legislation, how can they provide assistance to someone who is really in need of the right advice?
That means, let's wrap up this way. That means this is the law. Law is a rule. Rule is for all.
That's right.
Thank you very much. It was great having you on the show, Mr. Shrestha. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dear viewers, hope you have enjoyed the content of the show. As always, please consult with your registered migration agent or your solicitor to identify your personal circumstances, because the information provided here are of general in nature. If you are interested, our guest Mr. Shrestha is happy to take your questions on any of the contact popping up on the screen now. Hoping to get your suggestions and feedback, if any, at info@LUKLATV.com.au to help us improve the program along the way. Have a great evening. This is only a general updates and feedback on education and migration changes. Your individual circumstances and situation is not taken into the consideration. You should always take a professional advice from your registered migration agent or lawyer before dealing on any immigration related topics.
This program is brought to you by Esteem Mortgage Hub, making your home loan journey easy. Neil Consultancy, over 12 years of experience in education and migration industry. Remember us for all your admissions and visa queries.
all about education and migration issues.
We keep you posted on latest changes every month.
Welcome everyone to Migration Updates.